Barry Manilow's story isn't just about the bright lights of fame at age 82. This is a life that most people never see. It is full of heartbreak, strength, and quiet sadness. There are struggles, lost moments, and personal fights that time has not made easier behind the big hits and arenas that are packed to the brim. Why is his story both motivating and very sad? Because the man who made millions of people happy has had to deal with almost unimaginable problems. Today, we take a closer look at Barry Manilow's life and find out a truth that will move and break your heart. Barry Manilow is one of the most famous names in music. His name is linked to a lot of history and has had a huge effect on culture. Manilow has made the music for many people's lives, from the bright lights and unforgettable beats of Copacabana to the highly personal and soul-stirring anthem I Write the Songs. Songs and rhythms aren't the only things that make up his music. All of the notes are filled with feeling and connection. He won Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, and every other award a performer could hope for, but these recognitions barely scratch the surface of what made him truly remarkable. He had trophies, sold-out stadiums, and fame all over the world, but what really made him special was his unique ability to connect with listeners on a deep level and make them feel seen, understood, and a part of something bigger than themselves. Manilow has spent more than 50 years of his life on stage, whether it was in a big theater with lots of lights or a small club where every breath, chord, and pause was important. He was very good at the technical stuff, like perfect pitch, time, and crescendos, but he was also very good at the emotional stuff. Each show was more than just music, it told a story. Fans could sing choruses, repeat lyrics word for word, and even play the piano riffs like the artists. But behind those happy times, there was a lifetime of hard work, sacrifice, and dedication. The crowd saw the magic, the easy charm, and the never-ending energy, but they rarely saw the long hours of practice, the quiet frustrations, or the times of doubt. Or the damage that 30 years on the road does to your body. Manilow's job wasn't just about working for a long time. It was about loyalty, a love for music that wouldn't go away, even as styles, genres, and time went by. Realizing that each note was important and that each song could hold a memory, a broken heart, or a happy moment for someone else. Behind the glitz, there were strict vocal exercises, practices, and routines for getting ready. That went late into the night, and a mind that was always thinking about arrangements, songs, and harmonies. For Manilow, singing was more than just a job, it was a calling. He was always connected to music, and it made him work hard. It also gave millions of people joy as they grew up and laughed, cried, and danced to his songs. Barry Manilow's real impact goes far beyond Grammys, arenas packed to the brim, and #1 songs. It's in the feelings he stirred up, the wonderful memories he helped us make, and the way his songs became a part of our everyday lives. Every sound and word turned into more than just a song, they became an experience and a story that was told. Every performance he gave became highly personal because of his unwavering dedication, unwavering discipline, and huge heart. It made everyone feel like they weren't just hearing music, but really living it. For more than 50 years, Manilow's unique songs have captivated fans all over the world, and he has always stayed true to his signature style. What does this uniformity ask of him in return, though? And could he ever push his body to its healthiest limits while still performing at such a high level? Let's find out what Barry Manilow was going through behind the scenes. After the applause, legends can still fight wars that no one else sees. Barry Manilow carried heavy loads that few people could imagine, even with all the loud cheers, bright lights, and praise. Every tour, residency, and sold-out show required more than just skill. They also needed endurance, stamina, and sheer willpower. It was hard on his body and mind to keep up with the fast-paced music business he had built up over decades, performing night after night and traveling from city to city. Even though he had to work long hours, stay up late, and stick to strict schedules, Barry never lost his smile or ability to connect with his audiences. He gave every note, every lyric, and every show his all. Fans saw a performer who was charming, well-groomed, and always full of energy, and she seemed to glide across the stage without a care in the world. The secret costs were something that not many people could see. Over years of constant travel, bodies, speech, and muscles got sore and tired. The mind was also under a lot of stress from remembering lyrics, fine-tuning arrangements, talking to fans, and keeping up the level of precision that had made the job last for more than 50 years. Even though Barry was tired all the time, he kept going because he loved music and wanted to connect with people who found joy, comfort, or escape in his songs. Every standing ovation was won by hours of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice that no one saw. Life threw Barry Manilow a whole new challenge just when it looked like he had already been through the hardest parts of his career: chart-topping hits, bad reviews, and keeping up a famous career that lasted for decades. It didn't matter how big the stage, how many cheers, or how many records he broke. What came next was a fight for his life. After years of success, fame, and praise, the music star now had to deal with a problem that was out of the public eye. It required a level of bravery that had never been seen before, and it put his strength, patience, and resilience to the test in ways that only the bravest can understand. This task was very personal, very human, and very unseen. It showed everyone that the body and heart can hit limits that fans may never see, no matter how famous a career or how loved a performer is. Barry Manilow's life was built on hard work, passion, and connecting with millions of people through music. This was a fight like no other for him, a test where the stakes weren't praise, awards, or sold-out arenas, but his very survival. Every moment required strength, bravery, and the will to keep living, acting, and making art, even though dealing with an unpredictable, never-ending illness was heartbreaking. Barry dealt with this new reality in the quiet times between songs with the same dedication, determination, and heart that had driven him through a lifetime of performances. Legends have fights outside of show business, and Barry Manilow was about to start the biggest fight of all. Barry went through a lot of physical and emotional pain when he wasn't in the news. But what will Manilow have to give up to be consistent? Could he have planned for that? And how much would it have cost? Let's talk about the first signs that something wasn't right. When the light goes out, it started out very quietly, almost unnoticeably. What began as a long-lasting case of asthma got worse each week and wouldn't go away. Barry Manilow went back on stage and performed for his fans with the same energy and accuracy that had made him famous, but his doctors still told him to be careful. They insisted on more checks, scans, and tests to be sure that everything was really fine. At first, it looked like something that was normal, maybe a safety measure or a way to be careful. But the effects would hit him hard and change the whole rhythm of his life. A small cancerous spot was found on Barry Manilow's lung after scans. Luckily, it was caught early, but the effects were felt right away and were very strong. The tours, practices, and residencies that had shaped his life for decades had to stop in an instant. The man's life had always been about the stage, the fans, and the rhythm of the show. All of a sudden, he was thrown into a world without cheers and spotlights. The stage, which he used to think of as home, turned into a reflection of how uncertain things were. It put his body, his patience, his strength, and even the core of his art to the test. Surgery had to be done. Doctors were hopeful, but the treatments and recovery took time, care, and patience. The schedule that. The space that used to be full of carefully planned shows is now used for healing. Every note, song, and carefully timed cue was put on hold for a moment. Fans had been praising his shows for a long time because they were always perfect. They would have to wait. Barry had spent decades perfecting the art of performance, mastering every breath, every chord, and every emotion. Now he was being asked to let go of control and believe that the slow and steady process of recovery would work. For a performer who was used to being in the center, this new part was deeply strange. He wasn't getting the crowd ready, he was getting himself ready. Rather than practicing songs, he was learning how to be patient again. Instead of planning tour routes and programs, he was figuring out how to get to the hospital, how to recover, and how to celebrate the little wins that came with each step toward healing. In the quiet insecurity of having your life cut short, it taught you how to be humble, strong, and take care of yourself.